it was my birthday recently, about a month ago now, because of shipping delays. And Xander said, "Hey, I'm gonna send you something. Open it on camera," and told me nothing else. So this is the package, the address of which I'm not gonna give to the camera. Oh man! So before I crack this thing fully open, Amazon went to town packing this thing, but
I know,
it
right?
is. I'm opening it up.
All right. Oh boy.
Wow. Yeah, there it is. A steel book. Wow. The actual limited edition steel book of 2025's Wolfman. In all of its glory. This should be my gift for you, Xander. I mean, I don't know why. Your birthday is so far away, though. Yeah, I'll say this. I don't know how many Universal Monster remakes have gotten a limited edition steelbook. This might be one of the only ones. So I'll take it. This is a fantastic gift. It's going on the shelf.
Well, there should have been a note inside there, too. Just one of those stupid little gift notes.
A gift for you. Happy birthday and Merry Christmas. I'm grateful to have you, my friend. Has many more arguments about the stupid movie. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, that's so. I thought I saw that note and it just said a gift for you on top. I was like, oh, it's a generic like, thank you for shopping at Amazon. Come buy more stuff. But that's such a. I'm putting that with the. I'm not losing that. That's part of the steelbook. That is such a nice, heartfelt gift. Xander, I'm going to do the same for you with a gift I will not tell you. Oh,
God, no.
in June or July. I don't know when. It's somewhere around there, right?
Yeah, it's in June. My birthday's in June.
I knew it was a J month.
Happy birthday, Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much. I'm going to upload this as soon as possible. The new episode of UMP comes out on the 1st. Check it out. Welcome to the Universal Monsters Podcast, the show where nothing's made up and the points do matter. I'm your host, Jake, author of Devil's League and creator of hot quality content. With me, as always, the creator and host of Screen Technology, Kieran Hit, a.k.a. Bruce. How you doing?
Pretty good.
And, of course, my other co-host, the creator of Emerald Quill Studios and directing Tour de Force, Xander. How's it going?
I am doing good. How's everyone?
Every month, my fine co-hosts and I break down a bunch of Universal Monster news across movies, shows, theme parks, physical media, and anything else regarding these classic monsters, and then we discuss the topic and the title of the episode. So, are you guys ready for a small but conservative amount of news?
Oh, I'm ready.
Sure.
All right, hell yeah. Xander, you wanted to go first with your topic of discussion here.
Yeah, so first world issues here. The official Universal Monsters Instagram page a couple months ago decided to open its lid, quote unquote, as they said, and expand their postings to just essentially mostly Blumhouse characters and just other horror franchises they have. Which bothers me because Universal Monsters is already a fucking niche fandom to begin with in this day and age. And they used to, I don't know, it was a really cool account that would post like funny things. I'd laugh at it. I don't know if anyone else found it interesting, but it was really cool. And there was some discourse for a while. And I think they lost a lot of followers. But yeah, so now it's just another generic horror posting page. And that made me really upset.
I have mixed feelings on this. On the one hand, yeah, as the host and creator of the Universal Monsters podcast, yeah, it sucks. It super sucks because, like, you know, you're right. It is a super niche thing. You know, it's like if you know about them. If not, you can get into them. It's kind of like it's one of those kind of markets where like it's targeting a certain set of films and fans of those films and fans of those characters and stuff like that. Yeah. So to lose that and to go expand just kind of takes away from that. However, I don't disagree in principle with like the idea of, oh, well, Universal makes a lot of horror films other than the classic monsters. You know, we own the rights to a lot of stuff, so it makes sense to do that. I only wish that they made a new page for Universal's general horror stuff.
Yeah,
because I think the motivation behind doing this is that, oh, this already has 100K followers. We can start at success and then weed out the diehard fans and grow the page bigger than 100K because we have all these other movies. It sucks because like that strategy will work, and I know they'll have like probably more than 200K in like a year or so.
I mean, it already is working because I still follow the account and angrily posted a comment saying, "Man, I miss when this account was cool." But
yeah, right.
I mean, like, no, I agree because it's like Yeah, they should have just made a new page, which wouldn't have been that hard. I mean, like when you're like an actual like a company page, usually you get followers easily from what I see.
Yeah.
And like again, it was just Universal Monsters. I'm not even mad that because they'd post like the Blumhouse 2025, Wolfman and Invisible Man 2020. That was okay because it was Universal Monsters. I didn't care like what era it came from. I was just like, what the fuck? So
Yeah. It sucks too, because like at least we have like the 2 or 3 other like fan accounts like Muni Monsters and some of the other ones
yeah.
that are like, do like target that niche pretty well, and they all do it for $0. It's
Oh
just
yeah,
fun,
no. I
obviously.
mean, we have those. It was more just like it was so cool that like Universal themselves had an official account page dedicated just solely to Universal Monsters content.
Yeah.
And that was like really
Yeah.
special. It was like, oh my god, this is really awesome. And it's like that's their legacy and stuff. And now that's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
no longer a thing. I'm like, okay, well. So that was my outrageous thing, but that happened a couple months ago. So
I never even followed that page to begin with.
Well, honestly, of the ones that I described, like the fan accounts and stuff like that, the official one is probably the least interesting because before they converted to general horror, they were just mostly putting like the dude who plays Dracula at the theme park and like when it's Monday and he looks kind of mad. I'm like, this isn't my
I found it
demographic of
funny.
shit.
Okay, I found it fun. I had fun with it. All right.
Like Bride and Frankenstein, it's like when your boo is doing blah blah blah, and she's like, I don't know, it's just not for me. I
Look,
don't know.
it was for me. Okay, it was for me. All right.
Even the like the independent Universal Monster accounts, they like to talk about like a ton of random shit anyways, so
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
just to boost content, but it is what it is.
There was something that we discussed in the chat that on propstore.com, which is a site that I really need to stay away from because I've gotten you think you're like, you know what, I work hard, I make a little bit of money, I can swing this, and then it charges you with like the shipping rates, and you're like, oh my god. But they have available a newspaper for Larry Talbot from the Wolfman 2010, and like normally I wouldn't really care about it because like the Wolfman remake is not one of my favorite, even of the remakes, is not one of my favorite movies. But it says Lawrence Talbot missing, and like if you're a fan of Universal Monsters, that's like a really cool piece of film history to have. You know what I mean? Like that's dope. So let me see if I can pull it up here because I have the website open. It's sold.
I bought it.
Just sold.
I'm just kidding.
Xander bought it.
I bought it.
Oh, imagine that review. Imagine all the people in the fucking world. It was actually the co-host of this show that pulled out the rug.
No, if they ever get but if they ever get a 2025 prop on there, we gotta pitch in and get it for them.
Oh no,
Blake,
God.
Monster on the Loose, Blake missing.
Blake missing.
Don't even say his last name, just Blake.
That'd be the biggest joke in all history. Yeah, if they do release a 2025 prop, you guys pitch in to fucking get me. I'm like, god damn it.
If memory serves, this is the scene where Lawrence Talbot sees the newspaper and then buys all the newspapers.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's only in the director's cut.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's why I remember it, because
We
I watched only the director's cut.
Yeah, we recently did a video of going over its script on Bruce's channel, Screenplay
Yes, we did.
Archaeology. You can watch
We
it
sure
right
did,
here
yeah.
at YouTube.com.
We, the proverbial we, you guys, not me.
Yes, and that was a good episode. Guys, listen to it. It actually did okay numbers for my channel, so.
Oh, sweet.
Yep,
I'm glad to hear.
But yeah, I just wanted to put it out there that like there was a prop available. It's no longer available.
How much did it sell for?
Well, the listed price is $369, but I know that like after taxes and fees, it'll come to like 500 and
Jesus
something.
Christ.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of money.
That's as much as I spent on my cane, so.
And then I have one more small piece of news here. It's in pictorial form in the chat. I'll put it on screen right now for the audience to see.
Hold on here. What do we got? Gotta pull this up.
Yes.
Do you guys see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
That is the other piece of news.
Wait. Oh, wait. Hold on.
That's
Wait,
just
I
a
don't
newspaper.
think I just see the. No. Wait a minute. Jake, you son of a bitch! Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not fucking kidding you.
Oh my god, this motherfucker.
I did.
So how many popcorn buckets did you sell to cover that?
We're only going to put it there because it's the only space that the audience can see because the rack
Sure
of
that
shoes
it's
covers the other side.
It's in view, so you can write it off as a business expense.
A business expense with all the income that this show makes. Yeah. We got to sell merch is the only way I can cover that.
Who would buy it?
You know what? I'm no longer. I had a tinge of regret because I'm like, fuck, maybe I should have bought it. But now I'm like, okay, you know, that's fine. At least I know where it is.
Yeah, at least it's not a mystery. At least you're good friends with the guy who has it.
At least I can be like, can you send me a picture of the newspaper real quick?
The pictures, they scanned in the high quality pictures of it.
And it's not like me trying to track down the script that sold on eBay like a decade ago and not being able to find it.
With all that down, guys, we're time to move on to some actual topics here. And by that I mean one big topic with a lot of little discussions here, because we're going to talk about
comics!
Skybound. At long last, the Skybound Universal Monster comics of recent. And they are in order: Dracula, Creature, Frankenstein, Mummy, Invisible Man, and soon to be a new one, which we'll get to at the end. So those 5 comics are the ones released thus far. I've read all. We've all read all of them. I've taken notes on all of them. Have you guys taken any amount of notes on them?
I've taken notes. I took notes on everything but Invisible Man because I read that one. That's very recent.
I haven't taken any notes, but I also, when I enjoy something, I remember it pretty well.
There's no reason not to get right into the first one here. It is time to talk about Skybound Universal Monster Dracula comic. Going into it, I was really excited because you guys gassed up the artwork, and I'm like, okay, well, it's a comic book. It's probably going to have okay artwork at the very least. I was blown away. Like, far and away, the best part of this comic is the artwork. It's got great writing, but, like, this is some of the greatest expressionist artwork I've ever seen in a comic book.
And I will say, every one of these comics has good art. This one is the best by far.
It's so immersive. It really reminds me of, like, an actual, like, gothic horror silent film, like Nosferatu. You know, just how, like, not the camera, but, like, how the framing is of each of the panels. It's so interesting.
Yeah, these video, the video doesn't really do it justice. Just the imagine. I mean, look at that. Look at how insane that looks. It's just so fucking.
That's not even
beautiful.
One of the most craziest ones that they have in there too.
No, I mean, and like these, if you buy the hardcover copy of this, which I recommend you do because it just has full scans of all the covers and stuff. I mean, these are just some of the covers. I mean,
That's so good. Yeah, the covers, the interludes between the stories are like the full splash pages. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god.
And the panel layouts are also really interesting. There's one where they're laid out like a coffin. And there's one where Van Helsing is talking, and it's laid out like a cross. That was cool.
The final shot is really nice. They do this whole thing where anyone who's affected by the vampirism has this like white glow on them, which looks so daunting. I love it.
But also, if we want to get into the writing itself, I thought this was a really interesting direction to take. For context, the classic Dracula 1931 is one of my favorite, if not the, of the classic Universal monsters. I know people have like Frankenstein and Bride as number one. They're up there too for me, but Dracula 1931 is the one that like really sticks out as like one of my absolute favorites all time. And this is in continuity with that, and it kind of fills in gaps between scenes and characters. I really loved the conversations that between characters that like either never met on screen or their meeting was just implied but not really relevant to that film.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed what they did. They make them relevant to this story.
I think it works better as a retelling because every now and then they'll do a scene they'll just lift dialogue straight from the movie and it'll be like, well, that feels kind of out of place in this retelling, but it's not a huge problem.
For me,
yeah, I get that.
I wouldn't say it's the strongest story, but I do agree. I think moments from this book are really good. I love everything they do with Renfield. I think
yes,
Renfield's great.
I think it's amazing because that's one of Renfield and Dracula are my favorite parts of the original film. especially Renfield.
I can tell. I watched Cold Embrace. I know that.
Yes, I did too.
And so just seeing how I read this comic before writing the script for Cold Embrace, actually, as one of my research parts. And I absolutely loved how Renfield acted. I loved the interaction he had with Mina, and that kind of like picking with like him thinking like, oh, she's a sweet woman and everything like that. Are we trying not to spoil anything about the books, or?
We can get into spoilers. We'll just fair warning, like, hey, we're gonna talk spoilers about these comics.
Yes,
okay,
it's gonna happen.
Yeah, at this point, this is the spoiler section.
I mean, not for nothing, but
comic.
we're spoiling a comic book which has been out for a very long time about a movie that's been out for 100 years. So if you wanted to read it, you've probably read it.
That's based on a book that's over 100 years old.
Yeah, but just in
from
case,
1997.
Here's your warning. I love that the last panel is Van Helsing consolidating or the dying Renfield. I love that final panel.
Yes.
And stuff.
It's Seward in this version, isn't it? That's one thing that's interesting in this, is that it feels like Seward really is trying to help Renfield in this version. He's not just like
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the resolution with Renfield's at the end, and if we're spoiling it, he's becoming human. I really liked that as an arc for him. I thought that was really powerful.
Overall, the art is carrying this book out of anything, for me at least. The art, like, it's carrying the whole thing, because other than that, it is a very slow burn of a story. And I don't think if the art was as beautiful, as expressionist, as just insane it is to look at, I don't think my attention would have been kept as well as it would.
I like the pacing. I like the slower pacing. I think it kind of like lines up 1-to-1 with the pacing of 31 Dracula. I enjoyed the way they told it. That being said, this definitely does starkly benefit from the artwork, and I will say too, starkly benefits from having Renfield as the central character, because he's the second most interesting one besides Dracula in that movie. So having 100%. Focusing on that guy who's kind of caught between human and vampirism is super cool. It's like a really cool way to go.
But one thing I do like is how. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's just slow burns are tough for me. I'm a man who struggles with slow burn stuff.
But I will say, I like how every character gets fleshed out in a way here. Like, I like Van Helsing, how Van Helsing gets introduced differently here, where he's like this weird, like, alcoholic guy who hangs out at the club and talks about shit. And then he has this speech at the end about how, we may defeat Dracula in the short term, but there's always going to be something else. Even Harker, who in the movie is, like, the most, like, throwaway character, all he does is kind of stand around and be concerned. He actually has a character here. He's kind of a jackass, but he's well-meaning. And, like, the scene where him and Mina are at Lucy's grave is really good. I really like that one. Dracula himself, when he's in it, he's really great. Like, the stuff of him, like, turning into a wolf. The fact that he's basically going on a huge murder spree around London to the point that, like, people are freaking out, not knowing what's going on. That was a cool addition. It's good. I did think it was a little weird how they would be like, oh, this scene from the movie happened off panel, where they're like leaving the theater and they're like, wow, that Dracula's a weird guy. And then like, oh, you saw what happened with the mirror. And I'm like, no, I didn't, Van Helsing. I would have liked to have seen that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it definitely works as it's one of those like the upcoming Mummy comic where like the scenes entirely take place between other scenes. I don't think it ever depicts a scene that took place in 1931 Dracula, at least not from the way it was told in 31 Dracula.
No, it doesn't. Exactly.
Yeah, it just fills in things. Some, we'll get to the Frankenstein comics, some just kind of retell exact scenes from that movie.
But yeah, if you're just a general audience, which if you're watching this show, I don't know how you could be a general audience, but if you are...
yeah, it's a very niche thing.
Or if you just happen to not enjoy Dracula stories that much, I still very highly recommend picking up this book, just for the art alone. It's beautiful. And yeah. I think out of all of the stories in here, aside from one of the other ones, this is the one worth buying the hardcover for, because oh my god, it's beautiful.
And I wanted to point out one thing about this. It's interesting that this is so Renfield focused, because Skybound, who publishes the comic, that's Robert Kirkman's like own personal imprint over at Image, and Kirkman also had a hand in pitching the story of the Renfield movie.
Xander, are you angrier at that comment or happier?
I'm just asking why the Renfield movie still sucked then.
Ooh.
No, this comic is missing one thing. It should have had Teddy Lobo show up in the final issue.
Teddy fucking Lobo. Final thing to talk about, though. If you are watching... Well, actually, no. If this comes out in January. Well, they did release two other things recently. Starting like November, October-ish, they did a black and white re-release of the first, well, not the two issues. It's now a 2-issue thing where they combine the 4 issues and the 2 issues. Am I making any sense?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool, good. Yeah, so they did that, and they're all in black and white now. I only picked these up because I just wanted to have prints of it. But if you really, really want the comic, maybe try to look out for these. Maybe they're still in stock. I don't know.
I don't think we need to rate these out of 5 or 10. I think we just move on and just say
Yes.
positive.
Positive.
Great stuff.
Very, very positive. I wish Dracula had spoken a little more, because he only gets like the one line at the end.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree, but I also kind of I think that was a deliberate choice by them. Like, I
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was.
like that he's just a force, like an entity, you know?
No,
But I
kinda
will
like
say, it does... This is something that kind of all of these comics have, except for 2, is that it makes you... It kind of expects you to have seen the movie.
Oh,
that is-
100%.
Yeah, there's really no way around it. Of course, it's going to be... If you're going to tie in between scenes of a film, it's kind of hard to not work off that.
Some of them balance it better. This one, it's like, when it's like, oh, like, they met Dracula in the theater. You only know what happened there if you've seen the movie. Also, there is one little detail I noticed, is that they flip the appearances of Lucy and Mina. They make Mina the blonde and Lucy the brunette, which is weird because the way they draw Lucy's face, she looks like Mina's actress in a couple panels. It's not consistent. I noticed that this time around.
That's funny. That's interesting. I have less thoughts about Creature. I have some notes here, but the next comic is, of course, The Creature from Black Lagoon lives! Exclamation point. I will just start things off by saying I heard that they announced that this was not in continuity with the sequels. It just feels like it's just another story in the canon. It doesn't feel like it contradicts them that much, does it? Am I crazy?
I mean,
here?
the way Walks Among Us ends, he could easily have just mutated back into the creature and swum back.
That's
Yeah,
what
I
I
can
always
see
thought
how
the end
that
of Walks
works,
Among
yeah.
Us meant. That's what I always inferred from that.
Well, I mean, if they would have made another movie, that's what it would have been. But I interpret it now, because there's not another sequel, as he basically just fucking dies, which I like that ending.
Right.
But
Right.
but yeah, I actually have a quote, because Dan Waters, who co-wrote this with Ram V, said that he when he answered a question about it being, only someone asked, was this purposefully done for the story? It was a contractual thing from Universal to only use the first film, and he said, it was for story purposes. The rough outline was in place and approved before I came on board. But setting is important for a story, and the sequels drifted away from the Black Lagoon itself. We wanted to return to the idea of the creature as an ethereal, myth-like being, which is really at the heart of the original.
Doesn't this comic take place like decades after the
30 years.
first movie anyway? 30 years after.
years.
So the creature could have either gone back or it's just another creature. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
I mean,
not
it
rocket
almost
science.
has to be another creature, because the way it behaves feels off.
Yeah, it's a little different.
I mean, it is a sequel to the original film.
Because
it
there's a
has one
character
of
who
the-
shows up.
Yes,
it's
there is an
the,
original film character in this, yeah.
Yeah, I forget what his name is, but he's the guy who had his face
Dr.
mold.
Edwin Thompson.
What did you guys think overall about this comic?
Well, first off, these fucking covers lie.
Okay, yeah, but I think I don't think it's bad. I think the story itself is fine. The art's really good. It's not Dracula level, but it's really good. It's one
it's
where
good.
I think the key thing, we'll go into detail later, but the key thing is I think this just tries to do too many things.
Yeah, because a comic this size can only do so much in its limited number of panels, so it's biting off a lot.
It brings up a lot of stuff, but like the thing with the main central plot to me is, have either of you guys seen The Howling?
Oh, I
No.
love The Howling. I rewatched it recently.
Isn't the plot of this kind of similar, where it's the reporter who had an encounter with a serial killer and she's traumatized? She goes away,
God,
and then she runs into him again. He becomes a monster. I thought that when I thought that when I first read this. I figured, it could be just a coincidence because of the similarities. Then I read another Rom V comic that he wrote. He wrote a DC Black Label comic called Aquaman Andromeda. And that book also has amazing art, which I think is what it gets by on because it's a very heavily praised comic. But the plot, down to specific images, is completely stolen from Sphere. And I'm like, dude. Like, it's even more blatant than this. So I'm like, I already am thinking, like, oh, yeah, he took some stuff from The Howling. And then because he had a co-writer on this, that's why it was less blatant.
The main character was a question mark to me because they imply that this horrible, tragic event happened to her. If you're just going to write something completely new and different, but still imply these really important events off screen, I thought the comics were supposed to show cool events that happened off screen, not do more of what the movies did. So, and then like you look at the Creature movie like itself, it's pretty airtight. Like every scene is relevant to the story it's telling. It doesn't reference or address massive, amazing things that you'll never see or care about, or I don't know. I think it would have worked better if, like, say, the main character were a survivor from one of those original movies, and then we'd like have that film context to know what mattered. And I know it's about the serial killer, not the creature, but like, I don't know. I feel like in the writing, it's weird. It could have been a little less off.
Because it's trying to parallel Kate's hunt for the serial killer and Dr. Thompson's hunt for the creature. Yeah. And those two elements could have worked together. The problem is there's like 3 or 4 other things going on in this that just completely...
Yeah, there's like gang warfare, and there's like...
Yeah, there's this whole thing. There's these drug dealers who only exist to get killed. And then there's the whole environmental theme, because it's mentioned early on in the script that apparently the creature like will come into civilization, drown people, fill their lungs full of the black dirt from the lagoon. And I'm like, that seems really weirdly out of character for the creature from the Black Lagoon. And then they try and say, oh, it's because of like what the logging companies are doing to the environment have made it lash out. But that's barely even addressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the gang people hired the serial killer to be able to fight better.
Yeah,
they were training them.
There's like 1,000 mercenaries you could hire other than this one dumbass ex-Marine. You have these characters who apparently have been hanging around the Black Lagoon. Because you have Thompson and his assistant who have built like a friggin' like whole-ass building right next to it. You have Collier, the serial killer, who's been living in the creature's cave, and they both somehow just never found it until this point. The creature was not hard to find in the original movie. He swam right up to them.
Yeah. As for me, for a bit of context, I didn't know these comics were a thing until Creature of the Black Lagoon exists. And then that's when, I don't know, at some point I got word that they had done Dracula. So I thought they were all just going to be like sequel comics. I didn't realize that usually they were meant to be like tie-ins to the actual movie and like revolve around it. So I feel like if I had like gone from Dracula to this, I'd be like even more upset. I feel like artwork wise, this one was the most generic out of all of them, even looking through it now. I could be wrong. But I don't know, even like Mummy and like Frankenstein, they have like a better kind of, or just like a bit more of a uniquer art style, where this one's very much like, I feel like I'm just like reading a regular like Marvel comic kind of. Story wise, I absolutely hate this story. Like I said, the covers really lie. It's like the creature's there, but he shows up for maybe like 1 or 2 pages every now and then, and the story's like barely about him. It's just about the serial killer and the gang war and stuff. And I'm like, what's going on here? What are we doing? Why is any I don't know.
I mostly agree. I thought the villain was the weakest part.
Definitely.
Until the reveal. And then I was like, oh.
The reveal's so dumb. I get what they're doing, but it's
dumb.
like...
I enjoyed it. It's fun.
It's so weird. It's like...
Jake,
so
I mean this in
have
the
to explain
nicest
to the
sense. I mean this in the nicest sense. But if you read from reading your book, I'm not surprised you thought the twist was cool. That's your style. That's up your alley. You
very
like that
exciting.
kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
fair enough. It does line up with things I am biased to like.
I think the twist. I think the last issue is what kind of kills it because I think the ending is ass.
Oh, the ending is fucking garbage. Oh my god.
Yeah, the story is questionable. It's really not the best story.
It's like him like. So the serial killer, apparently the creature will shed bits of itself periodically, and they're like scattered around the cave. So the serial killer because for some reason he identifies with it. It's not explained very well because he has this obsession about how people should life should never have emerged from the ocean, like he's James Cameron or some shit. And so he stitches bits of the creature to himself. It's like, I'm like you, and it's like, no. Stop cosplaying.
I really wish that they did not have the serial killer character that she just happens to have this massive tragic history with happen to be the one that has this amazing crazy twist. I wish it was just a random character. Like maybe she was going there to investigate what the fuck's going on with this character, right? I feel like the personal history is really what I take issue with because now it's just a massive coincidence that the one person you're tracking down happens to be a half creature. Sorry,
yeah,
spoilers.
Well, then that just kind of goes into the whole idea of then the story wouldn't be, that just goes.
I agree, the story shouldn't be.
But then you get into the ending where the drug dealers, they come because they realize that Collier killed off some of their guys. They show up at the cave, and Dr. Thompson, who's been he's the guy from the original movie, gets his face clawed, and then poor guy gets fucking dudes falling on them while they're beating each other up in the room. But yeah, he comes. He's been hunting the creature for years because he wants to prove it to get it because of the fact because he's been living with this pain for all this time. Blah blah blah. He gets the creature in his sights and is about to kill it, and he can't bring himself to do it. That was a good moment, and then he immediately gets shot in the back of the head by the drug dealers, which was dumb.
Super dumb.
But then we get to this ending where Kate kills the serial killer and the creature is judging her for it. I don't understand what the point of that was.
Because he's another creature, so he has empathy for creatures? Right? Question mark?
But I'm look, you kill people all the time. You drown people.
Yeah, creature slaughters, but they're drug dealers, so they're bad.
But maybe he just kills random people and sticks dirt in their mouth.
He does stick dirt in their mouths.
Look, I'm probably very wrong here, but reading this comic, the only thing I could get was the guy who wrote this did not care about writing a creature from Black Lagoon comic. He just wanted to write a story, and they told him to make a creature from Black Lagoon. He goes, well, at least as long as I can get my story out.
As long as I can get my Howling ripoff published.
That's what it got. This guy did not want to do a creature book. He just was contracted to, and he just twisted it as much as he could, just enough so that he could still do his story. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this, man?
Just overall, for the impressions, there are 5 comics released so far for these 5 different monsters. I love 3 of them. This is one of the 2 that I was either let down with or did not really gravitate towards.
I would say I absolutely definitively can say I love 2 of them. And only one of them I absolutely hate. The other 2 I'm like, okay, this was fun. Yeah, it's this one. This one is the worst one, and I hate to say that because Creature is my second favorite monster. Or no, third favorite monster.
I don't know if this is my worst or not. I'll think about it.
There's one. It's this or one other.
Let's segue into the next one here. It is the Universal Monsters Skybound Frankenstein comic, which of course intertwines with the 1931 movie. We're not into Bride territory yet. Maybe they'll do that later. As always, I'll start things off with just a little aside. Based on how the intro is presented, I thought the kid was a young Igor at first because they call to him and the kid turns. But then very soon after him and Igor share a panel, I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
It's not Igor.
That kind of threw me off.
That's not Igor, man. That's Fritz.
Exactly.
Dude,
Fritz,
are you
sorry.
even a fucking Universal Monsters fan? Like, come on,
honestly,
dude. What the hell?
I'm a fake fan. I'm one of the executives at Universal that decided to change the Instagram page to a general horror. That's how much of a fake fan I am, I guess.
Bruce, this guy calls the Frankenstein monster Frankenstein, I bet.
So did the movies, Xander.
This one also has really good art.
I enjoyed the art of this. This is good.
It was good. Same with Creatures. Like, it's not Dracula level, but it's still decent for art. You know, decent stuff.
It's like I said. It's not Dracula level, but it's unique enough where I don't feel like I'm just reading like a regular Marvel comic. Whereas
right.
that was
it does feel distinctly in line with the movie. Yeah.
And this is also where we get into writers I'm not super familiar with, because James Tynion, who did Dracula, funnily enough, he also wrote Batman for a while.
I'm mixed. I'll start with positivity here. I really enjoy the concept of a relative of someone whose grave was robbed going after the doctor for what he did.
Yes, that's good.
Because he's desecrating corpses at the end of the day. That's a bad thing to do morally. So I wish kind of one of the sequels of the 5 or 6 sequels did that, at least as a plot point. That would be fun. So I'm glad the comic kind of gets into that. My biggest problem with this comic is that more than half of it is just verbatim scenes from 1931's Frankenstein, like virtually unchanged. And I feel like, what more are you adding? Like, yeah, there's little character things you put in. There's little like asides. The boy is woven into the entire plot, but most of it is just like, yeah, the boy has happened to standing in the background of this scene that we've all seen and know and love, and now he's in the background of this scene that we all know and love. And like, where's the story you're telling? What am I getting away from this comic?
I disagree. I think, yeah, we're kind of getting just like retelling scenes, but I mean, again, like with Dracula, it was doing in between scenes, but it's still, you're still getting that plot. But I enjoyed the concept of like each story was sort of, or each book was sort of like about a different, like the history of that monster, or the part of the monster, like the arm or the leg or the brain or something like that. I thought that was really cool.
I like how that's like the opening of every issue. I do think by the time they get to issue 4, just kind of like, oh fuck it, it's some guy they watch getting hanged. But I like that. I like all the news. I think the kid character is well done. I think the way they end that storyline with him is really genuinely moving at the end. I like all like the added character development for Frankenstein and Elizabeth, and especially the fact that Fritz got motivation in this, whereas in the original movie he's just a completely unmotivated asshole.
I forget. Yeah, I forget. What was his motivation in the comic?
In the comic, it's that he was found by Frankenstein in like the graveyard, and he wants to prove that he is useful to this guy, that he has like some self-worth.
Right.
And then he goes and he basically loses it because Waldman, who's even more of an asshole in this than he is in the movie, is like, you really think that you mean anything to him? He's just going to throw you away. And so he's like, I'm going to help tame this monster help him control it so he recognizes I contributed something. That was really good.
Right, yeah.
Yep, that was fun.
This was better than fucking Creature from the Black Lagoon.
See, Creature and Frankenstein are my 2 lowest, because Creature took a lot of swings and it missed a lot of them, whereas Frankenstein, I don't know if it really swung that much. You know,
it's safe. It's a safe story, which, you know, depending on your viewpoint, safe is either, you know, really bad, or you're like, well, I mean, at least it was enjoyable.
Reconsidering it, I probably would put Creature as the weakest, but Frankenstein, there's an argument to be made that, like, I don't know, Creature was really out there. Creature really tried something new and crazy, and it didn't always work, but Frankenstein was just like, okay.
That's the one thing I'll give Creature I want more of these comics to do, is do a sequel. Because half of these are retellings. But what I liked about this this one, you can read this one, unlike Dracula, where it kind of skips some stuff, and you're like, wait, what just happened? You do not need to have seen the movie to follow this. This is very clear.
Yeah, that's true. I like that too.
Yes, but that's only because it puts so much of the movie in here already. That's kind of my thing.
And it also fills in a plot hole where in the movie it's not clear why the little girl's father knows that her drowning was a murder and not an accident. In this, it shows him rocking up to the lake right after it happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an improvement. I appreciate that quite a bit.
And I love that moment at the end where after Frankenstein's been thrown off the windmill and the kid walks up to him and he looks like he's about to kill him, but then he listens to what he has to say and backs off because it remembers that the version of Henry Frankenstein from the original movie is not a villain.
When he falls off the windmill, I was in my head, I was like, in any other situation I would criticize that he's still alive, but he's alive in Bride So this character would in fact be alive.
And he is alive at the end of the 31 movie because they added that weird tacked on epilogue where he's very clearly played by a different actor. The storyline of Elizabeth having like a simp was like, that was kind of strange. But the one detail that was interesting at the end is the monster is very clearly dead at the end of this. Like, there's no sequel happening to this comic because he fucking melts.
I want to note that while the story is just enjoyable, I'm not gonna like call it the best thing. I had fun. I agree with you, Bruce. I think the fact that it just it does recreate scenes from the movie makes it so you can just like read this comic. You don't have to watch the movie or anything. Yeah. I think that's a good strong thing. Like, if you're gonna recreate the story, I mean, might as well draw some scenes. But I would rather just have sequel.
I will say this in your guys' defense here is that had I not been so familiar with 31 Frankenstein and absolutely adore that movie so much, then yeah, if I read this comic without that prior knowledge and whatever, this would be a super strong comic because it uses those scenes in effective ways.
Yeah.
You got to give it that, obviously.
Yeah. So I would rather them just be sequels, but if they have to be retellings, I think Frankenstein, retelling wise, of just like straight up the movie, does it the best way, I think, out of all of these, in my opinion. And I actually like the art a lot better than Creature. But the other final thing I want to know is that I think out of all of them, I think Frankenstein has some of the best cover art. Like these covers are so fucking cool. I'm sorry, I just wanted to note that again one more time because holy fuck, look at this stuff. It's amazing. I love it.
Victor Moritz, that character, is even more useless here than he is in the movie. He just drives the carriage. His role as the simp got given to another character.
You say so. I just said out loud that I'm a huge diehard fan of 31 Frankenstein, but Victor Moritz does not even ring a bell in my head as a character in that film. So the fact that you said him now is like, whoa.
He's the guy. He was the first Clark Gable of the Monsterthon, I think.
Okay. That I'm picturing that movie. I know exactly where he is now. Thank you.
Jake's like, oh, now I remember.
I only reference things by way of Clark Gable's appearances. The next comic, The Mummy. Guys, I'm not going to bury the lead on this one. This is my favorite one so far, up to this point.
Really?
Yes. I would like to get into why, if I may. I think that The Mummy, Skybound comic, does the best job of improving something from the original movie that I didn't really like. So for context, I think the 32 Mummy is the best Mummy movie. I haven't seen the Hammer movies, but I've seen all the sequels and remakes and stuff, and I think the first one with Boris Karloff is top tier.
I heard what you almost said.
Yeah, exactly.
he almost gave the flowers.
Exactly. Well, one of the biggest negatives about the movie is that the love interest is a woman in a film from the 1930s, so she sucks. She is just there for the male characters.
Oh, I love her in that movie, but go ahead, go off.
I did not. I didn't gravitate toward it. A recurring theme of the Mummy series is that the man and the woman meet and fall in love and get married in the span of 3 days, while the mummy just kills everyone else except them before exploding at the end. I strongly dislike and am never compelled by the female leads in these movies, and the Mummy is no exception. Well, by golly, did they make me give a shit about Helen. So this, far and away, is the character development that I wish existed in the film. It's to the point where, like, straight up, if the original Mummy film just added in this subplot, like a filmed and scripted version, and brought the runtime up to 90 minutes, it might actually be my favorite classic Universal monster film. That's how much I loved what they did with this. I thought it was outstandingly much of an improvement. So that's why I really enjoyed reading this comic.
I was iffy on it when I first finished it, but it improved quite a bit during my reread. I think, like, the first issue needed some pruning, because that first issue, I think, is the longest issue of any of these. Like, usually it's, like, 20 pages and then, like, 10 pages of ads. This was, like, almost 30 pages of story. And I was not wild about all the teen angst bullshit in that first issue. I'm like, you could have trimmed that. Like, I don't like going to the English school, blah, blah, blah. Like, you could cut that shit out.
You're telling me you didn't like watching Helen and her college teenage friends sneak into a party?
I thought it was interesting how they handled the reincarnation aspect. Like, at first I'm like, is this imaginary friend angle to Ankhsenamin? really like I wasn't really too sure about that, but the way they wrap it up at the end, where the two of them have to essentially come together and work together to
Yeah,
be
that
Imhotep
was so cool.
was really cool.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's a good retelling for the most part. Like it gets like it is a retelling of the Mummy, and it does skip over things which I had an issue with on first read. But reading it all together, they approach it in a way where they'll have like characters talk about what happened, but it doesn't feel like something's missing.
Right, I agree completely. And the other part about that too, just real quick, is that when they do work together in that last issue there, I thought that was so effective, not just like as spectacle, but like that serves both of their characters and that informs both of their arcs. Again, arc that did not exist in the original film. So I really appreciate that as an ending.
And even though her and Frank, the love interest, they don't really have that much more time together in this, that scene where they meet is really good. I love the banter where he goes like, "Oh, you can always go back to scolding me," and she goes, "I'd like that." That was really good.
It's fun stuff.
I love the expanded flashback where we get more time and more development of what happened in ancient Egypt. And I specifically love the moment where after Imhotep has been caught trying to resurrect her, and the Pharaoh says, "I love my daughter, but I would never spit in the face of the gods to get her back." And he says, "Then you didn't love her enough." That is so good.
Was sick. That was sick.
My one disappointment I remember when I first read it was that, because infamously one of the things that was taken out of the movie, and the footage aside from some still frames has been lost, was there's supposed to be a longer sequence showing Ankhsenamon's different reincarnations throughout history, and I was hoping we would see that. And but all we really get here is there's like some broken fragments of a mirror, and every now and then you'll see there's like a page, there's like one single page, it's like a full page spread, and like along the edges of it there's broken pieces of the mirror, and you can just barely see some of them.
I agree. That was such a missed opportunity. I really was hoping that they'd like go through more of like her different reincarnations. I would have thought that.
I mean, you only have 4 issues. I'm just going off, so I'll just mention my last couple things here before I let you guys go into it. I'm not a huge fan of the art. It's not bad art, but it feels a little too cartoony for this story.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. Yeah, I'm thinking back on it, and it does, like, the stroke lines are pretty thick, you know?
And they all have, like, eyes like this.
Yeah.
They got that.
Yeah.
They got that boxy look as you just saw as I went through the artwork.
And also,
yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Oh no, you finish, Bruce.
So the other thing, I didn't really understand what was going on in the final issue, where they would look at Imhotep and they'd see him as just like a corpse with like his guts hanging out. Are they implying that like his physical appearance is an illusion?
Which one is this? Is issue 4?
Yeah, it would be in issue 4.
I remember that. I thought this was like her vision of him, like how she sees him in that moment. Maybe
that could be. Yeah, it was a little strange. Okay, so I have one more. I have one more observation, which I find hilarious. There are references to the Stephen Sommers movies in this comic. The guy who reads the scroll that brings the mummy back to life says, "Whatever harm came from opening a box." And later on, when the flashback when Ankhsenamen is dying, she says, "Death is only the beginning." And then at the end, Imhotep resurrects a couple mummies in the museum to do his fighting for him, which is also from those movies.
What's funny is, whatever harm came from opening a box, I thought that line was just a reference to the scene in the 32 Mummy where they opened the box and everyone died. But
I thought he says whatever harm came from opening a box in the original book, in the original movie.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
I don't remember. Does he? In the
I don't think so.
Mummy?
I swear.
Because that's a running gag in the Sommers movies, where they say, "Whatever harm came from reading a book, whatever harm came from opening a chest."
You're right. He never says it. I was wrong. I enjoy this story. I think the artwork is probably second weakest. First weakest is Creature, because I don't think it really stood out to me. But like, I agree. I don't think the artwork's that fitting to this story or anything. It's kind of like very tonally different, but at the very least, it's unique. Like, I'm like, okay, well, this is a little bit more different than what I'm usually looking at. And yeah, I like the story. I thought, Helen's character development was much more better. I don't know, there are some things I kind of wish we focused on more, but I thought the flashback scenes were really cool and stuff. So yeah, it's a fun story. I enjoyed it.
I will say though, we're dogging on the artwork. I agree it is a little cartoony. I love conceptually like mirrors and shattered glass being used as like the window into the other personality. Because like you get panels like, I think at the start of issue 4 it has one where it's like the glass is shattered. The start of issue 4, she's laying on the table and he's like, "Oh, please, your plague came to Egypt. You're one of the blah, blah, blah." And then like these shattered bits of glass have like all these different like allusions to the story.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then the bottom of that panel is like the mirror, which is shattered, and you see her looking at herself, and it's a whole. I don't know. I like conceptually what they were doing there. Yes, it's not the best art style, but I think it's better than Creatures.
Like I said, it's not bad. I just thought it was a little ill-fitting.
Couple more things of note here. Issue 3, page 3 to 4, panels 2 through 7. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No idea.
Or no? Okay, well, we see the heart attack powers.
Oh, yeah.
For the first time in the entire series. The only, as far as I can tell, in the Universal Monster canon, this is the only other appearance of the heart attack powers. And it's not even the same scene. It's a different scene where he kills a different person. So it is a further expansion. And I am so just, if no other reason to make this my favorite of the comics so far, that alone should have merit. Just the fact that they did it. Like, goddamn, props to him.
You have such a hard-on for that damn heart attack power.
Because they never do it again. Why? In all these reboots and sequels and spin-offs and direct-to-DVD Scorpion King series that continued after Tom Cruise's Mummy. Why? They never do it again. So annoying.
Well, I mean, they gave him so many powers in the remakes. I mean,
if I ever do a Mummy film, are you going to be upset if I don't have heart attack powers?
Xander, you're asking me a loaded question because I know the answer to that. But I will just say, like, oh yeah, it's so broken and difficult to write in. Let's write in that he takes off his face and throws it at Brendan Fraser instead in the third one, right? Okay. That's an okay power to put there.
I'm not defending that
about the
shit.
Third one. We don't talk about
saying,
the third
like,
movie,
of all of them, they've never done it again.
That movie's
so
getting
I'm finally
retconned,
happy.
So.
Yeah, allegedly. But the other thing too I wanted to point out is that I appreciate at the end of issue 3 they pull a super negative review and respond to it. It's very classy of them. All right, well, are we ready to transition to Invisible Man?
Oh, the John Cena comic?
Yeah, the one where you can't see it.
But
here we go. This is the latest completely released Universal Monster comic, although they've announced one more we'll get to later. The Invisible Man, which, so far these comics are either like in between scenes or maybe they're like, doing deeper development for characters. This straight up is a prequel, and the end of it leads straight into the start of the movie. I think this is the most interesting unexplored part of the movie. Like, what the hell happened to Jack before he walked into that hotel? Basically, I thought, like, of all the parts of the movie to expand on, you don't need to put in between scenes. It's like, well, that's a great start to a story, but it implies so much. So I wonder what the hell happened.
Yes.
So
they needed to do that because there isn't really any in between things you can really do with the Invisible Man. Like, that movie's very straightforward.
It's very direct. Yeah, with Dracula, there's like a lot of characters and a lot of drama. Whereas
same with Frankenstein.
And Frankenstein, yeah. This is so like 1, 2, 3 plot point, but it implies so much off screen before it started. So that's so cool.
So I want to start by saying this is
go on.
James Tynion, who wrote Dracula, also writes this.
Interesting. That's why I love it.
He did a great job. Yeah, this is the best one in my opinion. This is my favorite one. Art wise, it's amazing. Still doesn't mean out Dracula. That book is just so beautiful. But
I think we can all collectively agree. Like, I don't know how you can beat Dracula's artwork.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
Well,
but like
the
overall,
next one might equal it, but we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Overall, perfect trifecta. I mean, beautiful art, great story. Which, side note, Jake, I can now join you in the Universal ripped off my work category.
That's so funny.
No, I say that like the concept of let's explore what Jack was doing before the events, or before he turned invisible, is remotely unique, when even the fucking original book does that. So
I think I have to interrupt you, Xander. Issue 1 has a scene ripped straight out of the dinner scene from 2020's Invisible Man just to make you mad. So I'm surprised that you appreciated that.
yeah, because you know why? You want to know fucking why? Because fucking Jack isn't actually doing that. He's just thinking about killing them. He doesn't. It's not like, oh, I could get away with this. No, he's just like, man, I just kill them if I was invisible and they couldn't do anything to defend themselves. It wasn't like Jesus, man.
I appreciate the Claude Rains impression. That was good.
This is a perfect balance of great art, great story concept, and just great execution. It's yeah, and I love it. I mean, you know me, Invisible Man's my second favorite film. I go to bat for that goddamn movie so much. And I really like this. I think the only thing that I'm mixed on is his feelings towards Flora, because in the original film, it's very, very obvious that he is in love with Flora. And so in this, I'm kind of like, I'm not really sure why he seems to have just a full-on disdain for her, because it doesn't really match up.
He has the least disdain for her of anybody.
That is true.
I appreciate. I guess I'll put it this way: I love and hate the fact that like all the scenes with him and the love interest are like so many double entendres of like, I just feel like we're transparent. I just feel like I need to see you more. I really wish that you're an invisible man. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's the relationship problems, but they keep using verbiage of like what's literally going to happen to him without actually knowing about it.
My thing, and this is probably just like a really a theory that that probably my head cooked up with to be able to justify it all. I think the story is told through an unreliable narrator of Jack.
Yeah, like, because he does narrate the whole time, so it could be Jack's perspective of what's happening.
Yeah. And I think he's not being 100% honest with himself in these things, because this very much is meant to really tie into like as a prequel to the film, and so that's kind of my whole thing of like, oh, that's why we see him not like in love with Flora that much or just like putting up with her, but I think he's telling a lot of these parts unreliably.
I think it's a great idea to have him practice putting on the wardrobe as if he were invisible to get that ready.
Was fucking
because that adds like a little more context to like why he just automatically chooses to do that. Like, I've studied this. This is what I would kind of have to do if I were in this situation. So that was kind of fun.
I like how the experiment progresses, because one of his first test subjects is a cat, which is actually reference to the original book, which I thought was pretty cool.
That's straight up from the original book. Yeah, they added the little boy. Spoilers, by the way. This is the most recent one. But they added the little boy. But I thought that was so fucking sick, and I loved how they did all that. Also cover art. Oh my god, all these are fucking cover insane. I love all of them. I think this one is probably my favorite. This one is so fucking haunting.
I'll go out of my way and say all 5 comics have great cover art, regardless of what's inside of them. I will say though, like the cover art for this does feel distinct, but the art style of Invisible Man, the comic, it does remind me a lot. I don't know if you guys got this, but of Dark Knight Returns. The art style of that and how people are drawn. Yeah. So I really, in my head, I was thinking like this is the most Frank Miller of all of the ones so far.
The thing that really jumped out at me about the art in this is the way they portray Griffin. His face is almost always in shadow.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And
I mean, it's hard because oh no, you go, Bruce.
Oh no, I'm just gonna say my favorite part of this whole thing is the monkey, because it's so funny.
It's great.
Because
I'm gonna start testing off a monkey.
Because Kemp in the movie is already kind of an ass. And they make him even more so in this, where he buys a monkey just to piss off Griffin, and then Griffin's like,
What I really want to do is kind of read this comic and then watch Invisible Man and like see how well that flows. Because I really have a feeling, and I haven't seen the movie in a long time, but like I really have a feeling that like the character motivations will line up and be more improved with the comic as well. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean I've rewatched that movie more times than any one man should. And I can definitively say that yeah, the motivations do line up. A lot of things line up. It's why I'm like very much like pushing that like this is said by an unreliable narrator version of Jack, because it's like there's like only two things where it's like Flora and then what's her father's name?
Dr. Cranley.
Dr.
Cranley in
Cranley.
laboratory.
Clarence from It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, Clarence. Yeah, Dr. Cranley. They're both just a little, just like his feelings towards them, and like how Dr. Cranley acts in the comic is a little different from like in the book. So I think, or from the film. So that's why I'm like, I this is definitely made by an unreliable version of Jack. But other than that, I mean, this. I don't know. I mean, there's not much I can say besides that it's amazing, and I absolutely loved every bit of it, and I think this is the best one. I think this is the yeah. I mean, that's all I gotta say on it, man.
Fucking love it. It's great.
Yeah, it's good.
I have a couple other things here. I love how it sticks with continuity, which is something that famously the movies do not do with each other. Because it has the formula make him invisible one organ at a time, because usually when they die, they'll manifest as like a bloodstream first and then layer themselves back into being visible. So I love that it's just the reverse of how you become it, which I've never seen. At least in the first movie, they never do that. So that's really cool.
Yeah. No.
I like the whole when he does his human test. That was cool.
Yeah. Spoilers. The whole thing with the kid and like how the kid started to become smarter.
What a crazy story.
They'd have those conversations and stuff. It's like, oh, this is so fucking awesome. When the kid escapes, Jack's like, ah, fuck.
Yeah,
just like,
that's a big problem.
Like, it was a great cliffhanger to end on, and then for issue 4 to start with that and like him like dealing with that was perfect. I loved it so much. It was so
and the way he ties that off was so cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Very effective. The imagery with the two invisible men, one doused in flour and then one peppered with snow next to the other. Yeah. Oh, that was fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, the one thing that I kind of ran up against is the very last couple lines where he says, "Oh, I need to find a cure because being able to switch back and forth is true power." I don't think that lines up with what he was doing in the movie.
Maybe at that point the serum has driven him insane where he doesn't want to switch back and forth anymore. But again, that's more headcanon. So I don't know.
I mean, I think it does, because there's that whole thing with Kemp where he's like, I could switch back and forth with you, and then sometimes make you invisible and stuff like that. So
I need to watch it again too.
Yeah, but I keep cutting you off, Jake. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like, if the movie as is in the 30s had this as a backstory, like part of it, let's pretend that it's like a longer, bigger movie. I think censors would have exploded.
Oh yeah.
The 30s censors would just catch on fire. If you thought him saying, "Oh, now I'm gonna be God" in fucking Frankenstein was breaking all your rules, oh dude, you get fucked. you got a sociopath monkey out there. It's great.
They had to completely throw out the script for Dracula's daughter because the censor board just said no, it's completely unacceptable.
However, lesbians, totally cool.
Well, implied. Very implied.
Implied. That's all you could do back then, is imply it.
Yeah.
Are there any closing thoughts on Invisible Man the comic?
It's good.
It's good.
It's the only one I didn't reread and do notes for because I literally just finished up like last month.
Yeah, it's all fresh.
Yeah, I mean, closing thoughts, I really enjoy it. I hope the people who made this one are able to do the Wolfman comic, because I think I'd rather
they did tease it. They're not doing that one next, but they did tease it.
Yeah, they teased it in the letters page.
I want to start ranking these. How do you guys feel?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
I'm cool for ranking.
So there's what, 5
I'll start. There's only 5. I'll start because I've already written it down. I'm going to assume you guys haven't yet. I don't know if you... It's really easy to do in your head. It's only 5 comics. But I'm going to start and just say the obvious thing here. Elephant in the room. I am, unpopular opinion, The Mummy is the best of the comics. I think it does the most with what it has. I think it improves the most on the movie that's come before that. I already loved that movie on its own. But this comic is so powerful, and I love the story. Second and third are Dracula and Invisible in some order. I flip-flop which one is second best and which one is third best. I love Invisible Man's story, but I love Dracula's art, and I think they both have great story and great art in them, but like that's their strong points. So I'll just say Dracula number 2, Invisible Man number 3 for now, but they can switch. Then Frankenstein number 4, and then Creature, and those last 2 comics are the ones that did not stand out as ones that I love. I don't hate any of them. Even Creature Lives, I think, is still like mid. It's still like passable for what it is because it does some effective things. For me, I'm a little biased. The ending villain twist I thought was really fun and effective. It kind of saved it almost. It turned it from being a bad comic into an okay comic for me.
It's a very Jake story.
That's
very
fair
Jake
to say.
Story.
I'm glad they're actually finally having fun with it after all this time of the creature slowly walking around and horns blaring. So, hell yeah.
Ba-ba-bum.
Ba-ba-bum.
Mind you, I love the creature. The first movie. I think the first movie does it absolutely the best.
If they do make that remake, I want to hear the horns at least once.
Yeah, you got to have that part of the soundtrack. I mean, come on, it's iconic.
And then you got to have that little bit of Wolfman soundtrack, just because.
So who wants to go next?
Bruce, you go next.
Okay, my number 1, just based on this recent reread, it's Dracula. I think it has a lot of the most really effective character moments, and of course the art elevates it. My number 2... 2 and 3 are hard because 2, 3, and 4 could kind of like... They could all kind of switch places because they did all go up a bit on the reread. But my number 2 is... 2 and 3 especially. My number 2 might be Frankenstein. I just really enjoyed it this time on the reread. I think it worked. Number 3 will be Invisible Man. Number 4 would be The Mummy, mainly because I think that first issue was weak. But on the whole, it's still very strong. Like, it's a razor-thin difference. And then number 5 is Creature from the Black Lagoon. It just was kind of interesting, and then it shat itself in the final issue.
I think the opposite. That's so funny about the creature.
Okay, so I guess for me, I'm going to start from low to high. Number 5 is Creature. I mean, for everything I don't like about it, I think I'd still reread it one day.
It's not terrible. It's just not that good.
Yeah,
it's not that bad. It's not great, but it's the weakest.
It's just kind of mid. And like the art's not awful. It's just it doesn't really stand out as unique as I've come to learn through all the other ones that they're very unique in their style. I think I'm gonna give it to Mummy. I did like it. I do agree with all the points and stuff, but the art did sort of bring it down for me. I just think tonally it doesn't fit. Number 3, I'll give it to Frankenstein because I think the art is stronger in that. And I like I enjoyed the story. I like the imagery of Frankenstein and just the setting a lot. Number 2, while it gets a stratosphere category different in artwork as just an art piece, number 2 I'm going to give it to Dracula. And because I like to commit to my choices, unlike Jake, number 1 is Invisible Man. I love Dracula Invisible Man, but the Invisible Man one's the best, and I'm going to be biased. That one's just fucking insane. So that one's number 1.
Invisible is so strong. Yeah. Okay, so that'll wrap up our thoughts on the Skybound Universal Monster comics. Bit of a shorter episode today just because not a lot of news going on. I bought a thing, yay. So they have announced the next one. They've more than just announced the next one. They've released cover art and a couple panels from the next Skybound Universal Monster comic, The Phantom of the Opera. And we have a few variant covers, which you guys are all familiar with and stuff like that. You can very easily find the first result on Google. It's by the same artist that did Dracula. Finally, they got him back for one of them. I don't know why he hasn't been in the conversation since.
I'm not going to lie. This might save the Phantom comic for me. Because I was like, oh my god, they're going to do Wolfman next. And then it was Phantom. I was like, fuck. But
Phantom
seeing the art, I'm like,
none of our favorite Universal monsters of the lineup. I don't know. He never even got that many. He got one original film from like the 20s, and then one Technicolor film, which is like the only Universal Monster film classic that got nominated for Academy Awards, which is nice. Good
and
props
then,
and stuff like that. It looks like that's the version they're basing this comic off of, allegedly.
Oh, really? Okay. And I mean,
it
like,
looks that way.
The imagery is definitely from that.
I mean, in
Yep.
historic, he's important, but I mean, like even the book turned him into just like an actual phantom ghost. That book being Devil's League by Jake Camaro that you can buy on Amazon.com.
Available now wherever books are sold.
Available now where all books are sold.
So they released a plot blurb.
Okay.
So I'm going to read this. For Universal Monsters Phantom of the Opera #1. A young soprano, Christine, finds a career in chaos after a series of violent crimes plagues the Paris Opera House. But the show must go on, and Christine will discover that no one, especially the mysterious voice whispering from the eaves, is what they seem. As an old friend returns to investigate these surprising attacks, Christine will discover her connection to the truth and the man known as the Phantom of the Opera. The Phantom of the Opera will thrill fans new and old with a twist no one sees coming. I think I know what it's going to be.
The twist is that the Phantom of the Opera is Jack Griffin, as a reference to the fact that Claude Rains played both characters.
Yo, that would go crazy.
Now, my real question is here, obviously looking at the covers and the panels, is that they're using the 43 film as a visual model. Are they going to use like any of the specific plot points?
Well, the 43 film is not that different in plot from the 25 film, nor the book itself. It still kind of has the same essence of what the story is.
The only real difference is that you actually get to see how his face got all fucked up.
With the original book and the 20s movie, he was born like that.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I like the fucked up face origin story better.
Actually, I do have two questions for you guys. So one, Jake, this one's just for you. If they end up wanting to break my heart and have the next one after this one be Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, will you finally admit that he's a universal monster, or have you already admitted because of him being in the maze?
Listen, will you? Because both of you agreed with me that he wasn't on that episode, so I don't want to single it out like I'm the outlier.
He was part of an official Universal Monsters.
I'm not jumping into this.
Okay.
I'll say this: if they make that comic and it, for some ungodly reason, ties into the 1913 silent film, all right, case closed. I guess now it's canon. Whatever. But what else do they have? What are they going to tie into the fucking Abbott and Costello meet Jekyll? Like, there's no other canon to go off of.
But as of now, Jekyll is not to you part of the line.
Well, obviously they'll base it on Prodigium.
Exactly.
That's the only direct. What, you're going to do Van Helsing? What other Jekylls has Universal done?
The fact that they're even doing Phantom kind of tells me that, like, from here on out, the sky's the limit on what they'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Metaluda Mutant will be back next.
They're tackling popular and less popular ones.
Like, they're doing
they're
doing Phantom before Wolfman. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, they could do Creeper. They could do a Black Cat comic. They could do anything.
At this point, I think they will, because see, this is what I want to think. I'm thinking people at Skybound watch this show, and they've heard my tidbits of the comics, and they know Xander really likes the Wolfman. So we're gonna go, okay, Phantom. All right, he'll think Wolfman's next. Okay, now we're gonna do Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Now he has to do it. No. Now it's gonna be the Creeper. Now it's gonna be Black Cat. Now it's gonna
Jungle Woman.
Jungle Woman.
Not even a monster. Woman. The Black Cat. The drama.
The drama. Metaluna mutants. Just anything. They'll do every single thing before Wolfman just to fucking.
They'll do the tarantula. You know what I would like to see, and I'm probably the only one here who would actually like this. Do a
Monster on the Campus.
Do a Chorus comic with that mummy.
Okay.
I believe, as a guy who hates all four of those sequels, I believe there is room for a comic to come in and make a story that I actually gravitate towards
in between scenes
of those movies. In between scenes, in between films, for fuck's sake. You got like 4 of them, 5.
And they take place over. The Chorus movies take place over decades.
What would your dream Skybound comic be from these?
Ape Woman.
They did a 4-issue. Ape Woman? Okay.
Not because I love that character. I think those movies are really questionable at best. But
Jake,
just because it'd be the most out of left field fucking decision to make.
Jake, don't lie to yourself. You love Ape Woman. Shut the fuck up. You love that character much.
Guy who's read chapter 3 of my book be like,
you love that character. Don't lie to yourself.
I would like to see a comic that bridges the gap between Bride and Son.
Okay.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Yeah, they got to do Bride at some point.
I'm going to say, I mean, obviously the answer is Wolfman. And Wolfman drawn by the guy who did Dracula and written by the guy who did Invisible Man. And I'd be...
who also wrote Dracula.
But, yeah, did he? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, that one. That'd be my dream one. But to give a non-obvious answer, I think I would love to see a House of comic. With,
Yes.
Oh God, I didn't know that was an option. I would have picked that, Xander.
I want to see a House of, and if it, obviously I'd rather have an original out of anything, but if it was an adaptation, a House of Frankenstein, because I think they could really expand upon that film. I think that'd be really cool.
Imagine a house comic where they actually all interact in a scene we didn't see.
Devil's League in stores now. It would take place in between the
Good.
scenes of House of Frankenstein.
I want to see. I want to see a comic adaptation of The Devil's League by Jake.
But you know what?
If someone wants to do it with me, I'm down.
But I mean, like, actually, I agree with Jake. A Van Helsing sequel comic would actually be kind of cool.
That'd be cool, yeah.
Like, I like to see them go as far as like touch on remakes, fuck it, do a sequel to the fucking Langella Dracula. Like, do something.
Do a house with the remakes, because
Yes.
that hasn't and will not be done.
Make The Wolfman a sequel to 2025, so Xander will have to read it.
Fuck!
A Skybound comic that integrates the entirety of all the remakes, like our fucking Dark Universe pitch.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
That's a
so
lot
crazy.
to shove into a 4-issue comic, though.
You could do it.
Or do
No, you
like
can't. No, you can't.
like Dark Horse. Dark Horse was doing with Alien before they lost the license, where they were going back and taking like old scripts and turning them into comics, or like they did with some of the Planet of the Apes stuff. That would be kind of cool.
That'll wrap up our discussion on the Universal Monster Skybound comics. Thank you guys, as always, for joining us on this New Year's Day episode. Brand new 2026, kicking it off right.
Happy
This is
2026,
today.
everybody.
Yeah.
We're now in 2026 as of upload date, not recording date. This is way before 2026.
Don't break the illusion, Jake. What the hell?
Oh, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I hallucinated for a minute there.
We definitely went out of our way to talk to do this on the New Year's Day.
I can't wait for a bunch of news to drop tomorrow.
We'll talk about it in January, man. Whatever.
I mean, considering all the we had all the news last episode.
That'll do our episode. Thank you guys for joining me as always, and see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Come on, Jake. Where's your sense of adventure?